Hi, juniors. The last writing activity required that you choose a stance in a persuasive writing task. In this activity, it will be more research based, it will be more informational. They call that also expository, where you just research the history and sort of report what you've learned on the topic. For this task, we have different topics to choose from. They're all going to be in the same theme as the last assignment, where we're going to be researching the history of American activism and the movements that have changed laws or policies over time. So, first things first, again, it's going to be a research paper. It's going to be informationally based. You don't necessarily have to take a stance that you're arguing. It's not an argumentative essay, it is research essay informational. So, the first thing that I recommend doing is clicking on the student sample because this gives you a picture of what your final paper is going to look like. It is going to be in MLA format. It is going to be approximately, well, it's going to be 4 paragraphs long. And here are there are videos that show the details of MLA format so that you can make sure and get your paper in the correct format, which is going to align with what you're going to be doing in college writing. So the student sample is here. The student sample is done on Cesar Chavez. Uh, farm rights movement. So you can look at that student sample, read through it, and see how the student has constructed the paper. So you have a choice. You actually have 5 choices of American protest movements. So we have the farm labor rights movement from Cesar Chavez. We have the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement is actually in the tutorial in the class. And so if you would like to do that one, because it's going to have a little bit more information in addition to the sources that I've provided, that is a good option. There is the Vietnam anti-war movement, which happened around the same era as the civil rights movement, but it was specifically protesting the Vietnam War. And so the reasons as to why people were protesting that war and didn't want to be involved in it. The next option is women's suffrage. So that is advocating for women's right to vote over time. Then we have Black Lives Matter, which has had a huge following this past, year or two and has ignited a lot of awareness on that issue recently. If there is another protest movement that you would like to choose, you can go ahead and actually there's a link here where you can click other options, and there's 10 other options right there that you can choose from if you don't like these 5 provided, or if there's another one that isn't mentioned, you can get it approved by me. But within each of these, whichever one you choose, whichever one stands out to you as most interesting, I have given you resources to click on, and these are actually already in MLA format. So all you have to do is copy and paste the resources in MLA format into your works cited because they're ready to go. But each of them already has a link to at least 3 sources. So whichever one you choose of the 5, you're going to have 3 sources that have been given to you that you can start performing your research on. So, first part of the assignment is to develop research questions. Now, you're going to take again, it's informational research project. So, just what do you not know about this topic? What would you like to learn? So, you develop 3 questions that address what you would like to learn, and then you answer the question through the 3 pieces of research provided. So, your answer is going to be your thesis statement or your guiding light to your paper. Okay, the next thing that you do is you're going to have research notes. So there again, the resources have already been provided for you here. So you can just click on those links and then you just copy and paste each source. There's going to be 3 sources and then at least 3 quotations or paraphrases from each source after you've read that source and have learned about the topic that you've chosen. Okay, so that is your first part, which is organizing your research and figuring out what points you would like to make in your paper.